Dad's voice cracked through the clinking of silverware like a knife. "You're not getting any inheritance, Lacey. Your brothers deserve it more." No hesitation, no shame, just a decree. I swallowed my wine slowly, letting the burn steady me. My brothers smirked across the table, already drunk on imagined wealth. Mom kept her eyes down, complicit in silence. I didn't argue, I didn't plead. I cut a piece of ham, lifted it to my mouth, and chewed. Calm, silent, invisible. They thought they'd buried me with those words. What they didn't know was that I'd already built my own empire. Quietly, patiently. It started years ago, when I realized I was never enough for them. Not the golden child, not the son, not the favorite. I was the one they leaned on when bills went unpaid. The one who babysat without thanks, loaned money without repayment, showed up without being asked. I was dependable. And dependability, in this family, was mistaken for weakness. The night Dad called me a waste of an education for quitting a job I hated, something hardened inside me. I smiled at him then, too, that same practiced smile. And in that moment, I vowed they'd never see me coming. I stopped trying to earn their love. I started building my own power. The first crack of betrayal was subtle. My oldest brother forgot to pay me back $15,000 I lent him for his business. My youngest brother sold the jewelry I gave him to cover rent. Dad co-signed loans in my name without telling me. Each act was a shovel of dirt tossed onto my coffin. They thought I was buried, but I wasn't. I was planting. Every humiliation was fuel. Every slight was an investment in revenge. So I built in silence, late nights, endless risk, no applause. I turned my coding skills into a startup, sold it, took that money, built another, real estate, angel investments, a biotech firm when they weren't paying attention. While they mocked me for being single, I built a life so large no one in this house could see the edges. I became what they told me I'd never be, not just successful, untouchable. And the best part? I told no one. Christmas dinner was my final stage. Dad's announcement wasn't shocking, it was predictable. I knew how he'd divide the crumbs of his modest estate. I knew I'd be erased from his will like an afterthought. That's why I didn't flinch. That's why I kept eating. Because the truth wasn't theirs to give, it was mine to reveal. The reveal came sooner than expected. It was my nephew, the loudmouth teenager who couldn't survive 5 minutes without his phone. He gasped so loudly the room froze. His screen glowed as he stammered, "Aunt Lacey, you're on Forbes, the billionaire list." Forks clattered, chairs creaked, eyes locked on me. I kept chewing, slow, deliberate, while my nephew read aloud the headline that had just dropped online. My name, my company, my valuation, the number with 9 zeros behind it. The silence that followed was heavier than any words my family had ever spoken to me. Dad's hand trembled on his wine glass. Mom finally looked up, her face pale. My brother's smirks curdled into panic. I dabbed my mouth with a napkin, then finally looked at them, one by one. "Don't worry," I said softly, almost tender. "I don't need your inheritance." The knife cut deeper than shouting ever could. The chaos came quickly. My brothers demanded explanations, asked if I'd helped their failing businesses. Dad stumbled over himself, suddenly praising my hard work. Mom tried to rewrite history in real time, insisting she'd always known I'd be something great. I just sat there, sipping my wine, watching them choke on the taste of their own greed. They weren't happy for me. They were terrified of me, exactly as I planned. The truth is, I didn't build my empire for their approval. I built it so I'd never need them again. So I could sit at that table and watch their faces crumble when they realized the child they'd dismissed was now the storm they couldn't outrun. Revenge doesn't always come with screaming or slammed doors. Sometimes it comes with silence, with patience, with a billion-dollar headline that detonates at the perfect moment. As dinner ended, Dad muttered something about family sticking together. I stood, kissed Mom's cheek, and thanked her for the meal. Then I left, calm, silent, untouchable. And as the cold December air hit my face, I finally let myself smile. Because the truth was simple. They tried to cut me out of their future. Instead, I cut them out of mine.